Morning, Shuckers. How you doing? It's Shucker Paddy here. I'm doing a special gig tonight for Great Kitchen Party. It was a fundraiser, November, and the dinner was supposed to go in the winter when all oysters can be available. But hey, it's summer, and so I made a few phone calls. My friends at Hog Island grow 5 species of oysters. So we have a 5 species oyster tasting. Out of season, understandable. So we're going to see about the subtle nuances about what's happening to the various oysters that are technically in spawn mode. These are the Oyster family, so your Olympias and the flats. I've got them set up in a tasting profile that I'm going to do. I'm going to start on this end over here with the Olympias. They're the most complex of all the oysters that we have here in North America, and they're the smallest at 3 or 4 years of growth. And it's going to be something that you want to start with. No sauce, no lemon, to really set the palate and the tone of what you're going to be talking about. Then we're going to do the East Coast oyster. This is grown again in Tamales Bay in Hog Island, California. So it is an East Coast oyster. So this is a Crassostrea virginicus oyster grown out west. Fabulous. So we're going to see that. We're going to compare that with the barstool oyster from Prince Edward Island on the half shell. We're also smoking that one right now, but that's later. So then we'll get into the Magdalena series, which is the Magdalena gigas, West Coast oyster, Pacific, originally from Pacific Rim. This is the Hog Island Sweetwater. Kumamoto, originally from Japan, Magdalena Sikamiya. Get into that. Looking gorgeous, fat and plump and beautiful for this time of year. And also the flat. This is a European flat oyster, an Ostera edulis species. Again, complexity is going to be larger, so I want to finish with that one. So starting on this end, moving to that end over there, let's give them a little taste, see how it's going. So Olympia oyster first. Petite little oyster. When you're shucking oysters to show on camera, don't sever the bottom. Photographer tip. Two-bite chew and it melts. It melts across the palate. Enters into like a very subtle salt, sweet cream, and the grassiness. The oyster, the Olympia oyster, is indicative of grassiness, a very herbaceous flavor right in the midsection. Then it draws off into a lot of umami, driftwood, whetstone, and really tastes of the ocean, but in a very suggestive way. This is why you have it. No sauce, no lemon, no anything. It's such a petite little oyster, it's going to get lost in translation. In between, we are going to be doing some specialty drinks and cocktails that we're creating as well with my friend James Chatto. So this should be very interesting. Menu just basically is coming down. It's today. And the oysters arrived yesterday late. And so they've been in the chill. They're all set and they're ready to go. And they all survived the trip, which was gorgeous. That's your East Coast oyster. Lots of liquor on this one. Big ocean sea salt on that one coming out of Tamales Bay. Lovely. Could be firmer, but it's the time of year. Very clean, gorgeous, salty, sweet, lovely little oyster. We're going to go into the West Coast oyster, the Pacific. Hog Island Sweetwater. It's got a little bit of a fattiness going on right here. That's in the belly section. It's because the gonads are swollen up. It's getting ready for spawn out. Again, the salinity is going to be the same across the board because they're coming all out of the same water. Slightly different regions or whatnot. The beautiful thing about this one at this point in time is got that velvety, sweet cream midsection and finish. Light umami stone, minerality in the finish of it. Gorgeous, beautiful little oyster. This Kumamoto is looking fat and plump. Beautiful situation right here. You can see how beauty fat that is, setting up. Much milder in the salinity. More sweetness coming out of the midsection, and a very lovely, clean finish. Not a lot of herb, a little bit of greens in the finish of it. Beautiful little rendition of a Kumamoto. Finishing up with the flat. European flat oyster is very rare this side of the pond. It's not a native species. It was brought over in the 30s, started off in Maine, and now it's over on the west coast as well. So they grow them sort of a wild set in Maine, and this is more of a cultured growth off in Tamales Bay, California. Firm texture. Lovely bit of seaweedy green in the midsection. Right now, you get this minerality and dry tannic, light coppery notes to the finish of it. It's very dry on the palate, like a dry red wine. And the astringency comes through and just finishes off clean and ocean, but delicious. Wonderful. It's got a nice, crisp, meaty texture and great oyster overall. So that's what we're going to be doing. Our 5 species tasting later today. And then cocktails in between. Plus, we're doing some smoked oysters, smoked salmon. We're going to fresh smoke some stuff. I don't know. We're going to do some other stuff along the way. Come along with me. We'll see what happens later today.